Well, hello there. Now, there's a very, very nice lady in Canada that I know, and her name is Jan, and she asked me to record this story just for you. So, welcome to the Duthie Park in Aberdeen. This is the Winter Gardens, and it's one of the most beautiful places in the whole of Aberdeen, and we like to come here when it's cold and when it's raining. And as you can tell today, we're in the really, really warm bit with all the cacti. Now, the story that I'm going to tell you today is not about a really warm bit that's all dry. It's about a nice kind of wet place where there used to live a frog. Now, frogs didn't always look the way that they do now. You can see that this frog's got a big wide mouth, big round belly, and stretchy legs. No, in the olden days, frogs used to be tall and thin and a beautiful small mouth like that. And the first frog of all was called Tidalick. And the thing about Tidalick was that he had such a beautiful singing voice. He would wake up in the morning and he would yawn and he would stretch and he would go ho 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 ho, and then he would sing la 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 la. He was a better singer than me, I have to say. Well, all the other animals used to come to him and say, "Oh, Tidalick, it's my birthday, can you sing to me?" And he would go, and they loved him, and he loved his voice. But one day, he woke up. Oh dear, he had a bit of a cough. And when he opened his mouth to sing, did he go, No, he didn't, did he? He went, and when he tried to say, "Oh my goodness, my voice," he didn't say anything, he could only say, and you know what it's like when you've got a sore throat? What do you need to drink, Molly? Water. You need to drink water. So he went all the way up to the wee pool that was next to him, and he leant down and he drank the water. He'd lost his voice completely. Well, he needed to drink more water, so he drank the rest of that water in that little pond, and he still croaked. And he still croaked. So he went to a stream. There was a wee trickling stream nearby, and he sat at the bottom of that stream and he drank all of that water. And he drank until the sun was going down, and the next morning the sun came up and there was no more water in the stream. He drank every single drop and his belly was full. He straightened himself up and he went, what would he do now? He went off to the great big blue lake and he leant down by the side and he started to drink. And he drank and the water went down and down and down in that lake until there was only mud at the bottom, and all the fish were flapping about in the mud, helpless. But he thought, "I've drank all that water, my voice will be perfect." And he opened up his mouth and he went, he drank all of the water in all of the rivers. He drank all of the water in the sea. And after all of that, his belly was big and full of water, and he was no longer able to stand up tall and straight. He had to stand like that because the weight of his body filled with the water was so heavy. And he knew that if he opened his mouth, he knew that if he even went, "Boop," then the water would come gushing back out into the world. Now, of course, what happens when there's no water? Well, all the plants go thirsty, there's nothing for them to drink, and the only thing that survives is, well, things like these and the cacti, and there weren't many cacti where Tidalick lived. The animals had nothing to eat. They were thirsty. And the fish were dying in the rivers and in the lakes. So they all got together. They all gathered together on a great hill, and they said to each other, "What's happened to all the water? Have you seen any?" The chicken? Chicken hadn't seen any. Glowworm hadn't seen any. The snakes hadn't seen any. Coyote, monkey, lion, polar bears came all the way down from the north. And penguins came all the way up from the south, and they all got together and there was no water anywhere in the world. If only we had Tidalick to sing us a nice song, they said to each other. Well, where is Tidalick, by the way? Said a wee lizard. Nobody had seen him till a fly buzzed by. Tidalick sitting underneath a great big tree over there. They went over. There he was, sitting with his mouth full, his cheeks full of water, his belly full of water, and his legs crossed down like that. He looked really guilty. And Monkey said, Tidalick, did you drink all the water? Tidalick didn't want to admit it. And he held in all the water in his mouth still, and he went, mm-mm. You sure? Said Monkey. Chicken went, but he did. Cat came by. I'm sure his belly is big and wide because of the water that he's drank. You're keeping it to yourself, aren't you? And eventually Tidalick went, mm-hmm. Well, will you give it back to us? Said Emu. Come on, we're so thirsty, said Snake. And Tidalick thought, either he gave all the water back or he would never sing again. He shook his head. Then in disappointment, all the animals who were pleading and pleading and begging, they walked away and they left them there. And the last animal to leave was the gecko, who's a type of lizard. And Gecko went, just like that. Tidalick found it quite funny. But he couldn't laugh, because if he laughed, obviously he would open his mouth and all the water would come back out into the world. And Monkey noticed that. And Monkey started to dance. It was really funny. All the other animals stopped leaving. That's the noise that Tidalick made.
You touched a plant.
I did touch a plant, but it didn't hurt me. It's okay. It's my daughter, Molly. She's good. Well, one by one, all of the animals started to stop. The alpaca told a terrible joke. The crocodile grinned and did a tap dance. But finally, it was the chicken and monkey that worked together. Chicken walked past, and monkey went round behind chicken and got hold of one of chicken's tail feathers and pulled it out. Doing! Chicken went. All the animals were laughing and Tidalick couldn't laugh because all the water would come out of his mouth and he would be left with his croaky voice. The monkey took the chicken's feather and we went up to him and he went, Coochie coochie coo! Coochie coochie coo! Oh, it tickled so much. And eventually it was too much for Tidalick. And he went, and he rolled back on the ground and his legs were in the air, his arms were in the air. He rolled this way and he rolled that way and of course all the water came flooding, gushing out of his mouth, stretching his mouth big and wide. It went back into the sea. It went back into the rivers, back into the lakes, back into the streams and back into the ponds. The plants started to grow again. All the animals had enough to drink, and the fish were able to swim around and do what fish do once more. Tidalick was left with a great big belly, bendy legs, a great big mouth, just like this frog here. And when he opened his mouth to sing, what noise did he make? Did he go? And that is why, even to this very day, if you ever see a wee froggy, he'll be sitting next to water, because that's where frogs like to spend their time. And he won't sing. Instead, with their big bellies, their big mouths, their bendy legs, they will just go. And that is the end of the story of Tidalick the Frog. Thank you for listening. Did you like that one, Mom?